Skype is recording.
Right, I got a cough. Hopefully that'll be it. Okay.
Okay, your cough is out of the way. All right, it's 12 o'clock at night, so let's just get this thing going. Cue the Von Crippen. Kitchen Bros, episode 2, starting now.
I'm Blair Kitchen.
And I'm who am I?
No.
Mike Kitchen is who I am. And together we are the Kitchen Bros. And this is our comic book podcast.
Right. Number 2.
Because you demanded it. All right.
Right. So what are we talking about this time?
Okay, the thing that was interesting to me is the whole webcomics discussion. A whole bunch of things started up this week. The first thing that I got was Mark Oakley from Thieves and Kings and Stardrop. He did a post on his website talking about comics and the new media, part 1. And if anyone goes to iboxpublishing.com, they can read what he wrote. This is April 14th, 2012. So basically he was saying that for his last few comics, he's been setting up the panel arrangements and getting it all set up for digital display and digital comics. Even though he hasn't actually implemented it, he's been showing it on his website, but hasn't, I guess, made the leap into the whole digital publishing, like through iTunes or whatever, all the other Kindles and tablets and smartphones and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So he wrote a whole article about that. And then that got me thinking about the Amanda Hawking, and she did self-publishing through Amazon and the Kindle, and I guess she's sold over 1.5 million books and got a.
She's the novelist, right?
Yeah, I think she does like vampire, girly, preteen kind of books.
You have them all?
I do.
Yeah. No.
Not.
Yeah.
But just that shows that there is a whole demand for that kind of digital reading, I guess, even though I have the least bit of interest in it. And then I also got an email this week from the old Freak Pit alumni, Mike Chung, who was saying that he wants to get a Spy Guy digital comic so he can buy it in Korea and send it out to all his friends and all that. Talking about the comicsology and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of been the thing that's on my mind. So what do you think about all that?
Well, it's tough because
would you buy a digital comic?
Maybe if I had an iPhone and a Kindle and all that stuff. I
don't have an iPhone or a Kindle?
I don't have a cell phone yet. So
why not? You're not with the hipsters?
No, I'm just once I make some money, I'll I'll venture into that right now. It's cheaper just to not have anything right now. But no, I find it hard coming at that from that perspective because I don't have those things and I don't use those things, and I prefer books. Like I love books and I love the warm feeling you have when you sit down on the couch and you read a comic book. And I like going to the comic store on Wednesdays and browsing the shelves and picking up stuff. But at the same time, I see people with their iPhones and everything is on that thing, and it is pretty darn handy. And I see how kids using it these days. Well, your daughter Annika has one, and I just see my daughter. She's 9, just turned 9, going to Future Shop and playing around with these things, and they know how to use them, and I could see the appeal of having everything on there. But part of me is just I like the physical copies, so it's hard to say. But I can see the benefit of digital for sure. I just haven't done it all yet.
It was interesting to me when my daughter discovered the Archie Comics app or whatever through the iPod.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know anything about the stuff, but within 30 minutes of using the thing, she found that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
and it's interesting to me too the different ways you can prepare the comics for these like the digital ones, like frame by frame, or like to me I like to see the page as a whole and then zoom in from there. But I
See,
don't know.
that's the biggest problem I have with the whole thing, is because for myself, the idea of a paper comic is what I'm going for, and I would never want to have the medium dictate what I'm doing with the actual art. So the paper comic for me is the art form. And if
and
that
that's
gets taken away from the paper, then placed into a digital medium, that's fine. I have absolutely no problem with it. That was one of the
yeah.
things that my buddy Mike Chung was saying, is that it's like, oh, what was his words? Let me read it.
Excuse me.
Um, uh,
You got it all
sorry.
there.
Nah, it's here somewhere. Anyways, basically he was saying that, he hopes that he didn't offend me with suggesting that I go to digital media, and I hope I don't feel like I'm selling out and all this other kind of stuff. But for me, as long as I get to do the paper comic the way I'm envisioning it as the art form, that way the art itself isn't being detracted by trying to stick it into digital media. But once it's done and it gets transferred to any of those medias,
Oh
I
yeah.
could care less. That's
Yeah.
just an added bonus, and it gets in front of more people. And the other thing that people keep getting scared about is the whole piracy thing and downloads and making sure nobody
Yeah.
else can read it unless you pay for it and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, for me, I go into a comic book shop every week and flip through at least just about every single comic on the shelf just to see what's out there. And if something catches
Yeah.
my eye, I'll buy
And
it.
then you pick the ones you like the most. Yeah, for sure. For me too, I mean, I give my paper comics away away to kids and stuff all the
You
time.
do?
And no, I
That's
mean,
madness.
yeah, I know. Imagine that, getting new readers and stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, the more people that see your stuff, the more if something could go viral, I mean, that's the best thing in the world that could happen, is it goes viral. Maybe if every single thing that you ever make, I don't know. I just don't see. I mean, maybe because I'm not making a living doing it right now, anyways. That I don't see the harm in people sharing it, and just because right now I'm in the stage, and you are too, where it's like gaining new readers is what's most important, right? So if you don't have the readers, then you can't sell T-shirts. So I don't know. I the way I see it is, it's all. I'd love it if people share it and tweet it and Facebook and everything else. So you know,
So please, people, share.
yeah, download our stuff, rip it off whatever you can, scan them, make torrents out of them, whatever. Get them out there, share with your friends. I
Yeah, there
love hearing.
was.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was just gonna say I love hearing even kids with with the paper comics, and then they share them and they trade them, and things like that. I think that's great. I think that's all part of the experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the one point I made, I did a blog post a while back, just about my thoughts on digital comics and piracy and all that. And just what you were saying with getting new readers. Like, have you seen some of those heritage auction sites where they're selling original artwork? There's some Todd McFarlane piece. I don't have it in front of me, but it went for something like $40,000 or something like that. And then all
Oh, really? Wow.
the Frank Miller, the Todd McFarlane one was that lizard cover of Amazing Spider-Man that he did.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then the Frank Miller stuff that's been going for sale, like the Daredevil and Sin City and all these other things, but just a completely insane amounts. Dark Knight Returns, but just yeah, the amount each individual page went for, it would be like a year's salary. So
Wow.
if you get that many readers, you still own the actual, assuming you do it on paper with ink.
If you do it on paper, yeah.
But if you own the original artwork and can sell that, then I mean that pays for itself.
Yeah.
And then even Eric
Yeah.
Larson, he's been holding on to Savage Dragon pages for whatever the 20 years or so he's been doing it. So he's just been starting to sell those at conventions. So that's kind of interesting.
He has been selling.
He just started to, yeah.
The
He was
pages?
saying that
Okay.
I guess for the most part, he's selling the entire comic. So you
He,
don't just buy a page, you buy the entire comic book.
he needs a new kitchen or something.
He
like
just
that?
moved.
Is that
Maybe
Yeah, I
that has
know.
something to do with it.
You got to redo the kitchen. Well, I hear Sergio Aragonis as well. He's been holding on to those group pages for a long time, and here the plan is that's his kid's inheritance, right? He's gonna sell them all off as individual issues, and I think that's a great way to go. But you got to be popular before you can do that. You need the market for your stuff,
And to be
the
popular,
only way to
it
get
has to
that
be
is
viral.
for people to read it.
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
In order for it to be popular, the work has to go viral, which means getting in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah, somehow. And if traditional distribution methods aren't working, then you have to do it yourself. And digital is the way to do that, right? There's no way if especially now with Diamond kind of running the show as far as traditional distribution markets, you got to go to your own methods, and there's no way that me or you can ship out thousands, even if we had that many readers, thousands of stuff individually. I mean, we've been through that too. Just shipping them the comics off, it's like whatever you pay in postage, you're losing. You make internet sales and you pay it in postage. Pretty much what any profits you would make, they're gone right there. So even the comic shops, things like that. So I think digital is the way to go.
But for me, I don't see it as an end game.
No, not the end game. No, sorry, not an end game. I would, like I said before, I love the paper comics, so that's the end game to me. But as a means to get it out and get people to see it and get eyeballs looking at it, it's so easy. And essentially though, that's kind of what the floppy, I'll use the term floppies, traditional comics, kind of. That's how it used to be, right? The cheapest way, just cheap paper, get it out to, just get it out as cheaply as possible, right? Isn't that kind of what it was all about?
Yeah, it was always a disposable entertainment medium.
Yeah, and essentially that's how I see digital, as disposable entertainment.
Exactly.
So for someone who likes to keep stuff, and I you think, I got all these comics, I'll hand them down to my kids one day and things like that. Disposable medium is not what I prefer. I draw. I like to go back to the comics, and I like to look at stuff for reference. I like to, reread things. I like to collect it. So, digital I see as disposable, and that's what it is.
So is there any digital media that you'd actually pay for?
Right now, no, because I've blown so many hard drives on computers and lost everything. It's like I don't know. I take my chances with a house fire, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. I haven't actually. Well, like I said, I don't own a Kindle, or I don't own an iPhone or iPod or whatever. So I really haven't paid for any digital stuff. Have you? Is there anything that you?
The last thing I actually paid for was the Louis C.K. comedy special that he did. And
oh, yeah, okay.
And that was partially because after watching his show, which was just hilarious, I liked the Lucky Louie and his new show, Louie, that I got so much entertainment value out of that. And the fact that he was trying something new with the comedy special and $5, it was affordable. It was off his own website. It wasn't through iTunes or anything else like that. So you could just use PayPal, buy directly from him. The funds were going directly to him, not getting split across different distributors or whatever that electronic stuff is that you're paying for. Because doesn't iPod charge 30 or 40 or 50%? Or iTunes.
Yeah,
sorry.
Is it 30%?
Is it some crazy number?
Give it the times, Mike. Yeah. I think it's almost like what Diamond does. I mean, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I haven't fully looked into all that, but I mean, Mark Oakley talked about that a little bit, right? About the cuts that people take,
Yeah.
um, and they don't even host it, right? You were saying they.
Yeah, that's what Brian Redband from the Joe Rogan Experience was saying something about that, how you actually pay
Yeah,
for the hosting yourself. So, I mean, it would be
yeah,
one thing if the iTunes store was covering the bandwidth, but you're still apparently paying for all that. And I don't know anything. If anyone listening to this knows anything more about it, let us know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, the other thing that's kept me from doing all the digital stuff as of now is that, I mean, chalk another job up there that I have to do. Do I draw comic pages or do I,
yeah.
transfer everything to digital, right?
See, and that's the thing is when
A
you're
lot of,
doing this on the side, like time is such a valuable resource. I
yeah,
think it's important that you're actually spending on what's most important to you rather than, especially with computers. I work on computers all day with the animation day job, and so much of the time is just dealing with technical problems and computer crashes and other technical nonsense. Like even this episode of the Kitchen Bros, it's been like 2 or 3 days of technical problems before we've
oh,
been able to get everything up and running so that we can actually record this thing. But
with this hack job that we're patching together right now. Man, oh man. I got a fancy microphone that I can't get to work and headphones and all this stuff. Computers. Can't do it.
it's
Can't take it.
madness.
I need tech guys. I need people to
If you
do it
would
for
like
me.
to donate to Poss and Press for technical people,
And come over to my house and fix up all my stuff and get me going, then maybe I'll cook you dinner. My wife will cook you dinner. You
yeah,
come
don't
over.
let Blair do that.
No, no.
That's on
I'll
the
make
barbecue.
grilled cheese sandwiches. I'll make grilled cheese sandwiches. No. Yeah, it's yeah, computer stuff. Anyways, yeah, it's just one more thing, and a lot of it too is planning of when to do it. I think there's a time to do it, and I'm not there yet with I got to get to. I feel like I got to get to a certain issue number before I start releasing things in other formats and stuff like
Are
that.
you allowed to talk about what Bill Kimberly was talking about with his webcomic?
Well, we'll have to have him on the show, like on here sometime. That would be a good three-way conversation. But well, what he would, I mean, yeah, I don't know how much we want to get into it without Bill, but he had some good insights. He's been doing a web comic called The Drive-In. Excuse me. Yeah, so you should look it up. Bill Kimberly, The Drive-In. I don't know the website off of hand. I should have that handy, but I don't. But um, just he's been doing it every day for a year and a half. I think he's over 500. I think he stopped at 500 episodes, and yeah, I mean 500 days straight of doing it. And he was just pondering. We were talking through email a little bit about. He's taking a little break just to figure out where to go. If color's the way to go, or if so right now it's kind of a loose pencil thing. It's really funny.
And the website is thedrivein.ca.
thedrivein.ca. So, and Bill Kimberly, yeah. So, but just figuring out where to go from here, and if it's what the next step is. So, but I think maybe we'll maybe ask him on, and we'll talk a bit more about that.
It would be an
What do you think?
interesting discussion, especially since he's been pursuing
Yeah,
the digital format for a while, and we've been going the paper for a while. So it
yeah.
would be
We're at
interesting.
we're at about the same. Yeah. So I mean, in the end, I think it's a combination of all these things that you have to do. You kind of have to attack things from all angles, and you know, I think there's a certain amount of clout that it brings you when you have something like a physical book. But at the same time, I think the digital stuff is great for spreading it around, and you have your online store that you can sell things, other stuff that you can't, pirates can't get, they can't duplicate your coffee mug and things like that. Or maybe they could
What
now
do you
with all
think
the
of
stuff.
those people
They
that
give-
say if you download something, you're stealing?
Yeah, that's a blurry line. I don't know. I don't see it as that. Um, I see it as copying and sharing
What's
and
the name of
things like.
what's the name of the animator that did the whole
Excuse me.
thing?
Oh, oh shoot, her name's not coming to me right now. Um, yeah, I mean, that business model works for some better than others too. But
Oh yeah, Nina Paley.
Nina Paley,
So
yeah,
people can look
yeah,
that up. And the song that she does is "Copying Isn't Theft," and then she also did another thing about all that stuff. It's a pretty good video where she gets into all her views on the whole copying versus stealing kind of ideology.
yeah. I kind of look at it as, you know, well, the things I post on the internet. Well, I don't know. I just find the internet as just one big public forum, and you know, it's out there. Like, I don't know. I don't really get worried about that stuff because I don't think I don't think you can stop it. You know, and I like you know, you look at the music industry, and I love bands like you know, Radiohead and Smashing Pumpkins, what they've been doing, Nine Inch
Yeah.
Nails, what they've been doing, their digital stuff. I mean, obviously they've used the old format to get a name, and then now they're taking advantage of their popularity and what they can do with that. But I don't know. What do you think about all that stuff?
I'm of the idea, I guess, the Nina Paley kind of school of thought, where the more people you expose your work to, the more popular you can get. But then it's up to you, I guess, as a business person to figure out how to monetize it. So if you look at
Yeah.
Scott Kurtz and PvP and the guys at Penny Arcade, I mean, they've been making a killing off of well, at least it seems that way. Definitely the Penny Arcade guys,
Well,
they
I don't
seem to
know.
be pretty
They've
good.
been making
Have you seen those Penny
they've been
Arcade
making a
episodes?
living anyway. So.
Well, and starting conventions
Yeah, I
and
have.
the
Yeah.
Penny Arcade show, you really see their house. It's like I think they're doing better than we are. But anyways, that's because they actually figure out how to monetize the thing. And spoke to was it Robert Koo? I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
But talked to him
Yeah.
at the San Diego Comic Con, and so he was saying that the whole, I guess, their secret was advertising. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
So if you're showing it to people for free, it's like almost the TV model where you
Yeah.
subsidize the cost of producing it by advertising.
And it's up to you to bring in those those hits and find ways to bring people in.
Right, and if it's
Um,
being put out there for free and you're getting millions of hits, that's millions of eyeballs. So,
yeah, and maybe the days of you know, doing one or two works, like let's take the music example, is, you know, making one or two CDs and then just living off that, you know, like letting that do it for you, um, is over. I mean, with music, it's live shows and all that stuff that you can. I mean, experiences that you can't copy, you know, or steal or whatever you want to say. I mean, it's you know, with comics, you have original artwork, you have the actual merchandise, you have conventions, you know, all these things, and you have the power of just making new stuff that people like constantly, like keeping new things coming up, right? You can't just rest on your laurels and, you know, make a couple books and say, okay, I'm going to just keep printing these forever and ever and ever until everyone has one, because chances are everyone will have it pretty quick. So you just got to keep making more and more and more.
and then if
Um,
people like it, then
I
they'll
don't
want a
know.
hard copy. And the thing that I think is interesting
Yeah,
about music, because I have a lot less interest in music than I do with comics. So I'm able to kind of take a step back and see it from a more macro view because my head's not quite so much into it.
yeah,
But for music, I've completely stopped buying CDs. If there's anything that I want to listen to, I'll just go to YouTube and listen to it to see if I like it. But then if I really like something, I end up buying a vinyl. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't even own a record player, but I just like the fact that I can support the artist and, get some money to them and then own an artifact that, I like that.
yeah,
That's the almost like a piece of artwork that you can hold on to. I'll get a record player eventually, but
yeah,
it's just as a way to support things because I'm not that into buying an MP3, and I mean the people that do, God bless them. It keeps the artists fed. But for me, if I like it enough, I'll support the artist through other ways, like purchasing a vinyl copy or whatever kind of
Yeah.
merchandise, or like
And
even I picked up one of these guys from Scott Kurtz, just the little vinyl troll, just because it's like you read the webcomic, it's like what, let's get something back to the artist, buy some vinyl
yeah,
toys.
that's what I do. When you were asking if I ever bought anything digital,
Hmm.
I probably haven't. But what I do is if they have books or if they have things like that, I'll go out of my way to try and support them that way, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, not necessarily donate on the site, but I'll buy stuff from them if they have something that's cool. Like I like books, so that's what I usually look for.
So that's
Oh,
I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah.
the Abominable Charles Christopher, that's one that, I mean, the web comic is amazing, but I just hate reading these kind of comics on the web. So I just end up getting the book version of it and read it that
Yep.
way.
Yeah, me too. That's what I tend to do. But we're getting to be old fogies and we're not with the times right now. So at the same time, there are, going back to what we were talking about before, the younger generation definitely is digital minded. And it's funny, it's the shift has gone. It's a very uncluttered shift. I think now people don't. Remember, it used to be you'd have your CDs up on your wall, and it would almost be like, these are my CDs, and these are my movies and stuff, right? And now everything is all about hiding them or storing them all in something little, so you don't have to. Now that's called clutter, is having or gaudy having CDs on your wall, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny how the kind of the trends shifted. And, no, I don't know. Is that people or is that just advertisers and stuff like that kind of putting it
I have
into
no
your head?
idea
That
about all that. I mean,
uh,
I'm okay with clutter. I can live with that.
yeah, I like clutter.
But
I don't know how much of this office you can see, but talk about clutter.
one thing, and again, if anyone out there knows all the details, correct us if we're wrong. But from what I understood with some of these comic apps, where you actually purchase a comic, is you're not actually able to download the comic. It's just like a subscription to read it online. Have you heard anything about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I think I've kind of heard that that's changing a little bit. So I'm not sure. I think people are saying now you can download them.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough to say how that all works.
That was one of the things
What happens
the
if you drop your iPhone in the toilet? Like what happens to all the stuff on there?
I don't know.
Is it
If
gone?
you have dropped your iPod in a toilet,
Or
please contact the Kitchen Bros.
yeah, let us know. What happens? Do you lose everything? Like obviously they get broken and lost and all that. Do you lose everything, or is it on some cloud somewhere in outer space in Magic Land, or uh, or is it all on like iTunes server? I have no idea.
All
I don't
that
know.
cloud stuff freaks me out a little bit. I know I've heard other, like the technical webcomic type people talk about how much they love the cloud, but that's because they're all part, that kind of trendy mindset about whatever's hip and new and cool. But for me, that freaks me out because you don't directly control that content. So it's like if I buy a comic book,
Yeah,
I want to have it in my hands and stick it in a poly bag and stick it in the box or whatever. And if it gets flooded or caught on fire, so be it. But just the idea of
it's like
having the information out there on some cloud that you're paying to have access to, it's almost like it's being
yeah.
held for ransom.
Essentially, it's the banks. It's like I'd much rather have my gold underneath my mattress with a shotgun next to it than
That's a whole nother
yeah,
topic, actually, is the
than
whole
having.
idea of silver and precious metals and inflation and how you could actually buy a comic book for, if you use an old dime, that value is the same price as what the cover price of a comic
Because
book
it's
is now.
silver. Yeah,
That's another
interesting.
discussion. But
Yeah, yeah. No, but you know what I mean? Like the cloud is almost like that, right? It's like depositing all your information
in the bank.
in a bank. In the bank, the cloud,
But you
right?
can
And you
access it
pay
anywhere.
monthly. Yeah. Just like our with banks, right? You got your bank card and you can access it. I don't know. It just to me it's I don't know. I like to have my stuff with me. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you buy any
So in
comic
my
books
house.
this week?
No, I didn't make it to the shop. Usually no when what came out this week? I can't even
The only new comic I got was the America's Got Powers.
Okay.
And I was debating of passing on that one, but I mean, Jonathan Ross seems like a interesting personality type, and anything that Brian Hitch draws, you can't go wrong.
Oh, that's Brian
Yeah.
Hitch. Okay.
And then I just like the idea of supporting an original creation. So many of the Marvel DC stuff that just isn't connecting with me. I want to see something new and original and like new characters. Someone actually, was it Chris Howard? I think was the one that was saying about how any creation not done by the original creators is essentially fan fiction. I think that's an interesting way of looking at things.
Yeah, no, I see it like that a little bit too, actually. Although my original creators is whoever was drawing them when I was 9 years old. you
Right.
know, I guess if you go back far enough, like for me, Spider-Man has a couple different original creators. The more I learn about it, it's Ditko, but in my 9-year-old kid body, it's like John Romita Jr. is the original, and then, you realize, oh, his dad drew them. Oh, those are cool. Those are the original ones. And then you're like, oh, Ditko, or those are the original ones. But it seems to me whatever was going on when you were 9 years old, that's kind of the standard.
Yeah.
Did you find that at all?
Sort of. But
Until you do your
until you do the research, and then you start going back to the source material. And like with Spider-Man, which was always my favorite, and you start going back, and then you realize it was one guy who created all the cool characters and all the cool situations and like all the original designs, and that's Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
So, and like as soon as you get to that point, it's like that's where it stops. All the stuff that I loved originated from right there.
Yeah, I still like the other stuff, but not just not the same. Yeah. Yeah.
So then everything else I got from the $2 bin at Big B Comics in Hamilton. So a whole bunch of Goon.
Oh, yeah?
Goon.
Keeping up with my Goon.
Then a Gunsmith Cats, which is always a good Spy Guy reference. And then America's Got Powers. So that was my
Cool.
comic buying for this week. Oh, and then my son ended up picking up an old Green Arrow where he's shooting a bunch of robots. That was his selection. Then my other son got Pokemon cards.
Which one got the green arrow? Was that Marcus? Or was that Eric?
Yeah.
Marcus? That's funny. Robots. Shooting robots with arrows. You can't go wrong. Yeah. That's good.
Anything else, or should we wrap this up?
Well, I don't know. I guess we're getting close to the end. So, no, I'm good. Whatever we miss, we can always cover on episode 3. So, yeah, we can wrap this sucker up and go to bed.
Sounds good. It's past midnight. I've had my sleepy time tea, so we're all good. So,
this was supposed to be a half hour at 10 o'clock, and it's turned into
technical problems.
2 hours later. Technical
If
problems.
you would like to become technical support for the Kitchen Bros podcast, please contact us at whatever email.
We need our number. We need our number going across the screen.
That's post-production. If you would like to be post-production for the Kitchen Bros podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm looking for the music. Where's my music? All right, now the music is playing. Theme song is going. We have the Von Crippen. My name is Mike Kitchen.
I'm Blair Kitchen.
And we are the Kitchen Bros. So tune in next week, when we get around to it, for episode 3 of the Kitchen Bros Comic Book Podcast. And that's a wrap.